Hi guys, welcome to Know Math. My name is Sir Bench Antonio, and on this video we will discuss the absolute value. This lesson is intended for high school mathematics, especially for grade 7 students. If you're not just subscribed on my channel, please hit like and subscribe for more of my videos. The absolute value. The absolute value of a number refers to the distance of a number from the origin of a number line. It is represented by two vertical lines as the absolute value of n, which defines the magnitude of any integer n. The absolute value of any integer, whether positive or negative, will be the real numbers regardless of which sign it has. So this is an example of a number line, that all integers on the left side of 0 are negative numbers and all integers on the right side of 0 are positive numbers. Let's say this figure. We have this 6 as it has a 6 units away from 0. And also with this negative 6, it also has 6 units away from 0. This means that the absolute value of 6 is still 6, or the absolute value of a positive 6 is 6. And so as the absolute value of negative 6 is positive 6. Then what really is the use of absolute value? Let's say this figure. We have these two cars on a race. Let's say we have the car A and the car B. The car A is 9 meters away from the finish line, and car B is 5 meters away from the finish line. If we are to get the distance between these two cars, that is one use of the absolute value. Whether we're going to get the distance from car A to car B or from car B to car A, we will still get the same value. Let's say we're going to get the distance from car A to car B. That car A is 9 meters away from the finish line. Then get the difference to the car B, which is 5 meters away from the finish line. Then 9 meters minus 5 meters is 4 meters. That means that the car A still need to pass 4 meters to surpass the car B. But how about if we're going to get the distance from car B to car A? That car B is 5 meters away from the finish line and car A is 9 meters away from the finish line. Then their distance is still 4 meters, meaning the car B is 4 meters ahead from the car A. So the same distance we're going to get from car A to car B, whether we're going to get it from car A to B or car B to A. Let's take some examples. Let's answer the following. What is the absolute value of positive 2? The answer is 2. And what is the absolute value of negative 2? The answer is still 2. So whatever the signs inside the symbol of the absolute value, still the answer will be positive. That is the sense of the absolute value sign. For number 3 and number 4, the absolute value of positive 5 is 5, and the absolute value of a negative 5 is still 5. Then it is very different from the first 4 example. The next example that we have is we have this negative sign outside the absolute value symbols. We all know that negative sign is to negate the value of the given integer inside the absolute value. Or we're going to get the opposite once we have this negative sign. The first thing that we need to do with this kind of problem is to get first the absolute value of the integer inside the absolute value sign. The absolute value of positive 2 is 2. That we have the negative sign outside the absolute value. Therefore, The answer will be negative 2. Next, number 2. Negative absolute value of negative 2. Again, first, get the absolute value of the integer inside the absolute value sign. The absolute value of negative 2 is positive 2. Then get the symbol of the negative, which is going to get the opposite of positive 2, and that is negative 2. The same with example number 3. Get first the absolute value of positive 5, which is 5. So we're going to get the opposite, which is the negative part of the positive 5, which is negative 5. And for number 4, get the absolute value of negative 5 first, which is positive 5, and we're going to get its opposite, or which is the negative of 5. So the answer is negative 5. Let us try some examples. What is the absolute value of positive 15? The answer is positive 15. What is the absolute value of negative 15? The answer is positive 15. How about negative absolute value of 23? First, get the absolute value of 23, which is 23, and then get its opposite, or negative, which is negative 23. And what is the absolute value of negative absolute value of negative 23? Get first the absolute value of negative 23, which is 23, and then get its negative, which is negative 23. Sometimes most students having a hard time differentiating between the symbols of the absolute value and the parentheses. The parentheses is not the same with the absolute value. When we have this parentheses, it is just a grouping symbol. So it won't get the absolute value of the given integer inside that symbol. So for example, 15 is still 15. If we have here parentheses and the integer inside is negative 15, the answer will still be negative 15. And so as 23, and we're going to get its negative, then the answer is negative 23. On the last part, negative 23 is inside the parentheses, so the answer is negative 23. Then we need to get the opposite of the negative 23. That will give us a positive 23. And that is the difference between the parentheses and the absolute value symbol. Let us try some more example. Let's say we have 16 minus the absolute value of negative 4. First is to evaluate first the absolute value of negative 4. That is positive 4. And so we're going to continue the process as 16 minus 4. 16 minus 4, that will give us positive 12. And the answer is positive 12. The absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value of negative 11. Get first the absolute value of the integers. The absolute value of 5 is 5 plus the absolute value of negative 11 is 11. So 5 plus 11, we have 16. Example 3. Negative absolute value of 23 plus the absolute value of negative 30. That's a very different terms. So we're going to get first the absolute value of 23, and we're going to get its opposite, which is negative, plus the absolute value of negative 30, which is 30. Negative 23 plus 30 is also the same as 30 minus 23 if we're going to interchange the two terms. So we have now 30 minus 23. The answer is 7. Example number 4 is the absolute value of negative 6 minus what is inside the parentheses is negative 6. Take note the difference between the absolute value and the parentheses. Get first the absolute value of negative 6, which is positive 6, minus, we're going to get the negative 6. Take note that if we have this negative and we're going to get its opposite, that would become positive. So we have now 6 plus 6 is equal to 12. And that is all for the absolute value. And I have this math challenge for you guys. If you know the answer, just comment down below. And do not forget to hit like and subscribe for more of my videos. Thank you for watching.